I am live. And here we are. So, today we are playing Disneyland Adventures. This is a game that originally came out in 2011 for the Xbox, specifically the Xbox 360 Kinect. It was a game where you had to kind of like raise your hands to move around and stuff. I have used it on that platform very briefly one time, and just terrible. Really not great. Um, but we're here to talk about this. It's on Steam now, which is totally cool. First of all, when you see my little avatar here, you really can't update them like at all. So, this is just what we're working with. So, Disneyland, circa 2011. Anyone who knows me really well knows that this is actually a really important time and place for me. Specifically, this came out in early November 2011, just days after I was married in Disneyland. I was married on Halloween 2011 in Disneyland. That's a fun fact about this game. So I'm going to start us right here. We are right at the entrance gate, and as you can clearly see across there, that is California Adventure Park. For those who haven't been to the West Coast parks, this is really how it is. The two parks share a little throughway. You can walk from one park to the other. If you've only been to the Florida parks, that's a wild thing to think about because they do not have that capability. Um, you see the old California lettering there? That's not there anymore. I believe that's actually up closer to Sacramento now. It was donated to the state when they rethemed California Adventure to give it a different feel. So it doesn't look like that anymore. And in fact, you can't access that park in this game specifically for that reason. They had not finished the remodel yet, and they weren't sure quite what it was going to look like when the time came. Um, so yeah, a little bit of fun history to get us started. But I'm going to turn this around. First of all, I gotta say this area you're looking at here, the in between spot, always sort of my happy place. Every time I go down there, I stop in and I see it first. Always makes me happy. The music that's there, you can listen to that on YouTube. It's just such a good feeling. It feels like I'm home, right? So I'm going to turn us around here. There's the turnstiles exactly as they were at the time. They're a little different now. Um, but there it is. There's our entryway to Disneyland with Walt's train sitting up there. And I'm going to take you into the park the exact way that I do it when I'm there. I'm gonna have a quick sip of something here. Powerade Zero Blue, my favorite, not a sponsor. All right. We are going to head on into the park here. And this is exactly true to form. They have attraction posters on the way in: Big Thunder Mountain, Small World, was this Winnie the Pooh, and that's just Tomorrowland, and they show the Finding Nemo submarines. Interesting. So that it was already that at this point. Here we have the entry plaque. Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. And more attraction posters. We got that's the Disneyland Railroad, Walt's Train as we call it, the monorail, Storybook Land, the Storybook Land canal boats, the Haunted Mansion. On the other side here we got Jungle Cruise, always a classic, Space Mountain, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, one of my very favorites, and Peter Pan's Flight, which I've not been on in years because the line is always way too long. Um, Now, and listen, if you listen carefully, I've got the audio down pretty low, but you can hear the announcements going on for the train. I was a little iffy on what to do with the audio for this particular stream because, you know, with copyright being how it is and Disney being fairly litigious, I wasn't totally sure what I could get away with for streaming. So yeah, I kept it kind of at a medium, and if I get the old copyright strike, well, that's just what happens. All right, so we're coming in here, and again, I don't know how well you can hear it, but that music on Main Street USA is the best. Really a comfort thing for me. All right, we're gonna make our way in here. You see the churro cart already. It's just it feels right, you know. This is a I've poked around in this a little bit, but really this is kind of my first real run through in the game. Great moments with Mr. Lincoln. There's a cool gallery store that's usually right about there. Another one of my favorite stores in the park. You guys are sort of getting the grand circle tour from me here because you know there's a lot of things I know well, but maybe nothing in this world I know as well as I know Disney. Here's the City Hall. That's a lot of things there, lost and found, you know, first aid, all that kind of stuff. In the fire department, you'll see right up there, there's a little window with the light on. I think today I'll flutter my eyelashes a little more. Oh, interesting. Yeah, some of the things you hear people say in this are kind of neat. But that apartment you see up there with the light on, there is always a light always on in that apartment, and that is because that is Walt's old apartment that he used to stay in at Disneyland, and they've kept it. It's very rare that anyone can get a tour up there, but people have, and they've posted pictures online. But they always keep a light on, and that's a little tribute to Walt. It's sort of their way of saying, like, you know, uh, he's always remembered. He's always there, and in his own way. And in this case, it's just having a light on. Now we got the Emporium, awesome store. I wonder what merch they have in the window. I'm gonna be a little pokey here, and I hope y'all don't mind that too much. Oh, the silhouettes that you can get done. I think there's a shop for that further down Main Street here. Yeah, we got some bowls, some shirts, the Disney trash cans, of course. These same little railings that you see here, right next to my head. I gotta point that way on the screen. They use those to put up barriers for when they have special events. All right. Of course, across the street here we have the Main Street Magic Shop featuring Houdini Magic. I don't believe they still have the Houdini trademark. I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure they don't use that anymore. Um, but yeah, the Main Street Magic Shop was a very famous early job for a very famous comedian, Steve Martin, who of course does a bit of sleight of hand and some juggling, and he worked there demonstrating tricks for a while. Not his first job in the park though. Ah, that Main Street music kills me. All right, we're gonna make our way up here. We got, of course, we got the Main Street Cinema always playing Steamboat Willie, which you know now is apparently they've lost the copyright to that version of Mickey. All right, making our way down. Candy store. What's on the other side here? Just some random shops. Got Goofy's hanging out here over by this little Carnation Cafe, of course, a classic. And across the way here, one of my favorite little corners. My wife and I love. This is a real chill spot in the park. It's by the lockers. There's some little hidden gems here. I won't go over all of it now because eventually I'm gonna do a another video where I'm just kind of running through all the really key important places in the park to me, show you some of the hidden things that they've even kept in the game. We're coming up the way here, Penny Arcade. Now, I believe it's right over here. This particular cafe does not exist anymore. It is now a Starbucks in Disney, which, you know, I don't much care for myself. Over on this side, of course, we have a refreshment corner with its trademark red and white umbrellas. I used to when I didn't have a lot of money and I would get into Disney for free after certain wrestling shows in SoCal. I would pop into refreshment corner, and they used to have a thing where if you bought a cup of coffee and you kept your receipt, you get free refills all day. So that's all I would drink all day while I was in the park because it was the best value. And then, of course, right after that, with the signature white and yellow umbrellas, is what today we would know as the Jolly Holiday Bakery, but at the time was known as the Plaza Pavilion. And I believe over here we have, what's this, like the DVC cart. Yeah, it even says it, Disney Vacation Club. That's where they try to sell you on their little Disney parks sort of timeshare thing. And one last thing I'll show at the end of Main Street here. This Main Street Photo Supply Company also doesn't exist anymore because people don't really buy or develop film or need disposable cameras anymore. With phones and digital cameras, it's not a terribly useful thing. I got the corn dog cart over there. All right, and this is where it gets a little tough for me. I don't know which direction to go here. If I'm here on my own, I always want to go to Adventureland. That's my favorite spot. But for my wife and I, we always go Tomorrowland first. This harkens back to right around this time in 2011 when Star Tours had just been revamped, and it was the longest line in the park every time. So we would come over here and we would take care of Star Tours early in the morning before the line got too long, and then we'd go hit Space Mountain. Left. Oh, left is hey, Dave the Monster Truck Nerd's in the chat. You know what? We're gonna go with what the crowd says. We're gonna go left. We'll come back to Tomorrowland. It's got some real treats in it, and it's some of my that Main Street music, hanging out by the hub. Boy, there's going to be so many streams in this game because I've got story after story that I can relate to things. But standing in the hub and hearing that music, the one time I went to the park by myself, I was at a work event in Anaheim that was across the street, and I walked over and someone was able to get me in for free, and I walked in and had no idea which direction to go. So I went to the hub and I stood kind of hearing the music for a bit, and I called my wife and asked her what I should do, and she said, "You should sit right there so I can listen to that music for a few minutes." And I did. Uh, you know, she's always right. Yeah, we're going to go left. We're going to hit, first of all, Plaza Pavilion, formerly or now known as Holly Jolly Bakery. Always my go-to breakfast spot in this park. Absolutely love going in there. Get a Matterhorn macaroon and just a black coffee. Start the day light. We can hear now the music changing a bit because we're heading into Adventureland. And the first thing we see is one of my very favorite attractions. This, of course, the Mark Davis designed Enchanted Tiki Room. Really interesting. When Walt first launched this, it was the only thing in the park that was technically his. They charged a very small price to go in and watch the show. I think it was maybe 15 cents. 1 5, not 50, but 15 cents. And that money went directly to Walt. Oh, and we can see the sign here. The outside on this is no longer open because they now use this just for mobile order. But you can see there the pineapple juice. They don't have the rights to use Dole in this game, but this is where they sell the Dole Whips. And my favorite, the Dole Whip Float, which is the soft serve on top of some pineapple juice. Now, the waiting area for the Tiki Room is one of my favorite places in the park, too. Of course, this is where you go get your beverage on the inside. Right up there, you see that little square with the overhang that my character seems to be staring up at. That's supposed to be a TV that plays sort of a pre-show thing. It's sort of an advertisement for Dole. They changed it to an animated thing recently, but for years and years and years, it was the same, 1960s sort of newsreel advertisement for Dole. And it had a great scene. You can find it on YouTube. It's one of my wife and I's favorite things. There's just this Hawaiian dude on the beach, and they say, "Enjoy the flavor of Hawaii." And he takes a big bite of a pineapple, and with the most awkward grin, turns and smiles at the camera, but his mouth is completely full. Just so weird. They have, of course, the tiki gods out and around in this area that introduce themselves as part of the pre-show, give you a little Hawaii history with a little animatronics before the show. And then, of course, right here, they have them outside of the place. Yeah, you can hear the music in the background. Outside of the show here, in the game, is where they have the birds. Jose, Michael, Fritz, and Pierre. The four tiki birds that, of course, lead the show inside. Again, this is some of my favorite Mark Davis work. So character oriented. Now, I don't recall. I could have looked it up. I could have prepared some notes, but I'm just going off the top of my head here. One of the birds, it might have been Fritz, is actually voiced by Wally Bogue, who's a very famous vaudeville era comedian who worked for some time for Disney. Also was a common performer over in the Golden Horseshoe Cafe, which we'll get to in a bit. Fun note, it's not the way it used to be, but that wooden wall right there is open to what's currently handicap bathrooms, but used to just be general bathrooms that no one knew about. They were not easy to see, not widely talked about or advertised, and it used to be the best bathroom in the park. It's still pretty good, but like, you got to make sure you go when no one else is there. Otherwise, you could be in someone's way. Someone who actually needs the handicap bathroom. All right. So poking back out, that's the bridge we came over to come into Adventureland. This water here, with the Frontierland bridge ahead of me and the Adventureland bridge to my right, great watching for animals. And in fact, I believe in this game they actually have jumping fish that comes out. Yeah. On another one, I'll get into the jumping fish because there's something to that too. All right, need every penny while we're in the park here. Over here is where the Adventureland bathrooms are now, and they're not bad. They're not usually too busy unless a show is just getting out. All right, making our way up. Uh, so over here is the side of the tiki room, and as we come up, you see this Aladdin's Oasis with Aladdin hanging out there. This is where at the time, circa 2011, they did meet and greets with Aladdin or Jasmine, or sometimes the genie would be there. Doesn't really fit the area that well. Everything here has sort of a tropics jungle sort of theme, and then this is straight out of the desert. This is gone now, and they have since created a small side restaurant to the Tiki Room called the Tropical Hideaway. Of course, taken from the one of the opening lyrics to the Tiki Room song, "Welcome to our tropical hideaway." And in there they have an animatronic bird that tells jokes while you eat. Rosita, also mentioned in the Tiki Room show when Jose looks at the female birds on the birdmobile and says, "I wonder what happened to Rosita." Well, it turns out she's at the Tropical Hideaway. You can get Dole Whips there and all kinds of they have mochi and ice cream. It's just super good. Across the way, the Adventureland Bazaar. The only spot where I've seen Trader Sam's merch outside of actually in Trader Sam's or at the Disneyland Hotel. The tropical imports outside of the Jungle Cruise. A common spot for more healthy snacks while you're in the park. Again, most of the stuff is still here, but a lot of things have changed. We got a Baloo here protecting the Jungle Cruise, the world famous Jungle Cruise. Uh, Again, one of my absolute favorite things in the park. This is another one with a lot of Mark Davis work in the character design. He has such a unique style, and as we come around the circle here, you'll see a bunch more of the attractions that he was heavily involved with. But yeah, if you ever Google search Mark Davis Imagineering characters, you'll see a theme that sort of Haunted Mansion meets Pirates of the Caribbean, all very cartoony characters with just that little bit of realism. Very unique. Maybe probably one of, for me, the top two Imagineers in terms of design. Mary Blair maybe being number two, but we'll get to her as we circle around the park. Now here they have you can see Indiana Jones Adventure Temple of the Forbidden Eye. This is a ride that really makes Disneyland in California unique because this is the only place you can go on this ride in the United States. However, when we look at the actual ride, there's no big sign for it. It's just real little over on that side. And that's because they could not get the rights to Lucasfilm at the time. Again, remember, 2011, they didn't own Lucasfilm yet. So they couldn't get the rights to include it in the video game. But it was in the park and had been for a really long time. It was certainly there the first time I ever went to the parks, which would have been summer of '98. All right, as we continue on up here, there's actually something missing that really bugs me. For those in the know, that tree right there should have the little man of Disneyland. His house should be there, but alas, didn't make it into the game. All right, so here we have there it is. This is at the time would have actually been the Tarzan Treehouse. Before that, the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. And now is currently just known as the Adventureland Treehouse, inspired by the Swiss Family Robinson. I'm kind of happy to see it make the transition back. If you've been on it in Florida, then you certainly know which one it is. Oh, got a chat. I've never been to either Disney park, so I'm living vicariously through you in this game. Well, it's gonna get deep and nerdy, Dave. I gotta warn you, because I mean, I've shown you very little of this park so far, and I've been rambling for 20 minutes on this stream. I'm 21 minutes. All right, as we come around the bend here, we come up to, we are right now in New Orleans Square, as the jazz band would tell you, and some of the architecture. And dead ahead there, you see the Rivers of America. And right in the center is Tom Sawyer Island, one of, again, a favorite spot for me and my wife. It's always very quiet there, very different. There's no rides on it. It's really just sort of like hiking trails. Um, but yeah, the Rivers of America, of course, is where you can ride the Mark Twain riverboat you see over there, as well as the sailing ship Columbia in the distance on this side. This last trip, we rode the sailing ship because Mark Twain was being refurbished. And right behind me, the classic, the ride of all rides, Pirates of the Caribbean. This, of course, has a very different queue line than in Florida. In Florida, it sort of goes indoors and it's themed a bit different. I'm going to be quiet just for a second so you can listen to this music. So the cue music while you wait in line for Pirates of the Caribbean is some of my favorite music in the park. Um, there's an hour or 2 hour loop of it on YouTube that I used to listen to all the time when I was at work. It was just something I could do while I did spreadsheets. The spot I'm standing in right now, I'm actually having a hard time getting the camera to play. Yeah, right behind me there on that wall should be a drinking fountain. Didn't make it into the game. Not too surprising. And so literally the queue for this goes right here, and then it goes into this room here, and from there it's about 20 feet to where you hop on the boat. It's the shortest line, and it never really gets very long. And I love that about the Pirates in California. So, one of my favorite themed lands, I keep saying a lot of things are my favorite, but you know, I'll, I'll, I'll let you know when I start exaggerating. So far, I haven't yet. This is New Orleans Square. There's Cafe Orleans still there. Still, actually, I think Cafe Orleans was the one that was just rethemed to be Tiana's. So Tiana's restaurant now. That's new. There's a restaurant on this side. There's the fortune-telling pirate, of course. There's a couple things there that are like little shops, what have you. As we come around, we got the Blue Bayou, which is always a must-hit restaurant for us. It's a sit-down. You need a reservation, or in our case, we usually just walk up and cross our fingers, and they always let us in because it's just two of us. But great food there, and the seating for it is right on the edge of the lagoon river that the Pirates of the Caribbean ride floats through. So you're literally watching part of the ride the whole time as boats go by. Really cool, kind of oddly quiet too. Let's see, we come around here, we got some more shops. There's always some artists out here painting. Now I'm looking for something very specific here. And I know it's here. Oh, I think I've gone too far. I've definitely gone too far. Where is it? Where is it? Was it after Blue Bayou? So for those that know, there is a very sort of secret spot. Oh yeah, I think it's back here probably. Yeah, here it is. That's it right there. So that 33 on the wall, this is Club 33. This is a exclusive members only club in Disney. It is so hard to get in. There's a waiting list that can take years for you to be accepted. Annual membership, I believe, is $25,000 or something insane like that. It is a sit-down restaurant that's incredibly fancy. You're not allowed to take pictures or video inside. Um, until this last trip, I could safely say that I'd never been inside, but a good friend of ours is a member. And this last time, we didn't go in, we didn't eat, we didn't go to the lounge, we didn't do any of that. But they have special privileges around their fast passes in there. And our friend wanted to share some of her 26 daily fast passes that she gets for free. And so we went in and she was able to scan us in and have them put it on our phones so that we had those fast passes. So we did get to go through that door into the lobby, which was amazing. Like just a moment that I didn't think would ever actually happen. I know that's silly, and trust me, I know. I know it's silly. I'm okay with it. Um, all right. Continuing on back here. Another set of bathrooms over there next to that, what appears to be a hidden Mickey. Those bathrooms are also usually not too crowded. I'm giving away all the bathroom secrets here. Now, this is one of my favorite food spots here in New Orleans, the Mint Julep Bar. They are non-alcoholic mint juleps that they serve here, and they are delicious. I don't drink, so the non-alcoholic part's real important for me. And I can tell you, this is one of my favorite spots. I hit it every time. They also have Mickey-shaped beignets that they serve there that are really good. And you know, I've had beignets in New Orleans, and these definitely hold up. All right, coming up on the left here, this is set pretty far back in this land. You know, the main drag is way out front there. But up there is the New Orleans Square and Frontierland stop for the Disney Railway. So if you're taking the train around the whole park, that's where it lets off here. All right, I'm gonna come back out of here into the main thoroughway in front of the Rivers of America. Now, right ahead of me there, you see that little Pirates flag right by that tree there that says Pirates Lair. That's where you get on the little boat to go across to Tom Sawyer Island. Now you're getting a little bit of a view of New Orleans Square and sort of the gardens that are here. My wife is a huge fan of the gardens. They're really nice considering they're not really the focal point. Um, Now coming up here, we of course have, I mean, an all-timer attraction, the Haunted Mansion. If I go through the queue, I believe we can actually see some of the cool stuff. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get quiet so we can hear the Haunted Mansion music. Man. And so right ahead of me there, you see the horse and carriage, but it's of course a horseless carriage because it's being pulled by a ghost horse. As I make my way around here back through the queue, this is the pet cemetery, full of all these little pet stones. And if I come around, we got we got four of the five singing busts from inside the ride, and you can hear the lyric version of the song now. Spooks come out for a swing and wait. All right. Ooh, got real loud just then. All right. Is there any more of this that I can see? Yeah, I guess there's little bits of the gardens back here, but nothing important. All right, I'm gonna get us back out of here. Ooh, listen to that music. That's the music box version of the Haunted Mansion theme. That's on the B side of my vinyl of this. So yeah, cool to hear that. Again, there's the sailing ship Columbia. Get you a better look at it there. As we round the back half of New Orleans Square here, we enter into Critter Country, and our first full-on attraction that doesn't exist anymore. This is Splash Mountain. And this just shut down in California within the last year. And it's being replaced by a ride themed to Tiana and the Princess and the Frog. So that'll be exciting. I'm always excited to see new stuff when it comes out. Some people don't like it so much. Can't go down into the eating. Now, this is no longer just eating. This is now a walkway that you can go through. And if you follow it, it brings you to, again, a thing that didn't exist in this era. Galaxy's Edge is just beyond there. So you go from Critter Country, there's a sort of a tunnel, and then it drops you into Batu, the Star Wars planet created for the parks. I'm going to continue back here past Brer Fox and Brer Bear. Uh, and there's the Winnie the Pooh ride, which is where the Country Bear Jamboree used to be. The irony, of course, of replacing the Country Bears with Winnie the Pooh. So at least it's still a bear. Ah, there's the Splash Mountain entryway. It's a beautiful queue. The whole wait through there is just amazing, and I'm kind of bummed that it's going to be different and gone, but change can be good, and you got to embrace it and have fun. There's Winnie the Pooh doing a meet and greet. Here's all the Critter Country stores. All right, we're gonna head back out of Critter Country now. We're gonna go the only way we can from here at the time. Now there's other ways through, but at the time of this game, the only there's a churro cart. Always got to get some churros. All right, coming around here, we're headed back over the bridge. We got to double back here because that's just how it was at the time. And we're gonna circle around the rivers of America here, past all these attractions we already saw. Hey, you guys know I could jump in this game? I'm gonna go right down front. So what's interesting about this whole area by the rivers of America here, this is where Phantasmic happens in the park, and it used to be open seating. So people would just sit wherever here. Now they have sort of sections that they label off, and you have to get a pass for the right seating. But yeah, I've definitely sat dead front row to watch Phantasmic right here in that little stage right in front of my character's head. Amazing show. Of course, it reopened for I think 6 or 7 showings after it was closed a few months prior to COVID for some refurbishment, then closed all through COVID, then did not reopen until like a year ago. It was open for about 7 shows, which we happened to be there for one of those. And then a couple days after we left, the dragon Maleficent caught fire and burnt down, and they have not reopened. It's supposed to open later this year, so always happy to hear that they're bringing it back because it's an incredible show. It was there the first time I went to the park, and it's been something I've had to see every time since. And here we have the Golden Horseshoe Cafe. This is famous in the park. Used to have live performances there all the time. I remember when Billy Hill and the Hillbillies were there all the time. An incredible little folk act that would perform like every half hour. They were on a lot. It's kind of just chicken nuggets and stuff. But in the mornings, when there's bad weather, there's a cart out here, very famous for serving breakfast chimichangas, a big Disney Parks thing. They're in there when it's bad weather. And this last time I was here, it was raining, and Levi Shapiro and I, shout out Levi Shapiro, we got to go into the Golden Horseshoe and sit down for breakfast and have the breakfast chimichangas. First time I've ever had them. They usually sell out, and we got there in time, so that was pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna see the first attraction in Frontierland here. Big Thunder Mountain, the wildest ride in the wilderness. Oh, and you can go. I'm gonna go right into yeah, right here in the queue. And you can hear the music playing. I won't run through the queue and waste all that time. We are 35 minutes in, and I've only shown you a tiny fraction of this park. There's a lot of cool little small details and things to show around here. Again, I'm going to do another video where I sort of map out some of the special details to show. I will pop over very quickly to what we always call Walt's Tree. This is a section of fossilized tree. It's a petrified tree that's held together with some metal straps. They even included those in the game. We always pop by and see it. We think that's a pretty cool thing to have there, considering It's not selling any tickets. It's just a cool detail. So, gonna run through Frontierland here. There's not a ton in Frontierland. There is a Rancho del Zocalo, which is a cool little Mexican spot. There's a couple stores. There's the shooting gallery still there. Little BB gun game, sort of like a carnival ride or carnival game. There is here it's doored up and closed, but that is a passway that you can usually go through to get from Frontierland to Adventureland. Sure, they include their water fountains, but over at Pirates, they don't want to have them there. And you can see some bits of the old Davy Crockett ranch that used to be here long before my time, I believe. Here's again that body of water. There's one of the fish hopping around. My wife and I always go, if you're there at the right time of year, there's ducks and baby ducks making their way around. Always really cool. A beautiful spot in the park. Take a quick sip here. Again, Blue Powerade Zero, not a sponsor, but I wish they were. All right, I'm gonna run out to the hub here. Um, when you walk down Main Street USA and you're first approaching the castle, I'm gonna give you the view. I'm gonna give you the view that everyone has when they first come in the park. We're right back to the top of Main Street USA here. There it is. The castle in all her glory. So much smaller than the one in Florida because it was the first. It was the original. You can see the Matterhorn in the distance. There's you can see the very tippy top of you can see smoke coming from Big Thunder Mountain. You can see the tippy top of a palm tree for the tiki room. You kind of start to see the worlds develop in front of you, and as you continue on to the center of the gardens, the hub they call it, there is the famous partners statue, Walt and Mickey standing out and looking at everything they created together. I have so many pictures of myself with this statue, going all the way back to the first time I went to the park and virtually every time since. And around it, there's little mini statues of the other characters. You get some Pinocchios, some Mickey, Minnie, Donald's there. And there she is. There's the castle. So I think I'm going to take you, I think we're going to try to go in order here so we don't skip too much. There's the Carnation Plaza Gardens, which is not there anymore. This is now just a thoroughway to the back of Fantasyland and again over to Galaxy's Edge. The people love it, so yeah, let's now here's something that you can do in California that you cannot do in Florida. You can walk right through the castle. There's even a little walk-through attraction in the castle. There's a bridge over there where you can go over some gardens, but I'm going to show you a little special spot. Again, I'll probably go over this in another video, but if you come over to the side of the castle here, there's this little walkway, and right over here, over this little bridge by the wishing well, it's a spot called Snow White's Grotto, where they have these statues of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves and some animals. Those fish that are in the water are real. They spin around and spray water and light up. And right by this wishing well, in fact, right where they have Snow White standing in this game, is the spot where I was married in 2011. My parents stood over there. My wife's parents stood over there. And I got married right in this spot. Well, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool to be able to revisit that. Again, this came out November 2011, so just days after I was married in that exact spot. So it is a pretty faithful recreation to how it looked at the time. All right. Passing through the side of the castle here into, I'll show you what it looks like when you come out the right way, into Fantasyland. Fantasyland, of course, has a lot of the early attractions that were big hits. You'll see them kind of all around here. There's characters from a lot of them. There's Peter Pan's Flight, an amazing ride, really beautiful, and they've done some small refurbishments over the years, but only to enhance what was already there. They really didn't change the heart of the ride. It's always got a super long wait, so I think I said it earlier. I've not been on this in years. Um, yeah, just a really long wait because there's no fast pass. It's very popular and it's a slow ride. It doesn't move people through very quickly. On the opposite side, we have, at the time, what was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. This is because this ride was pretty dark and did, in fact, scare a lot of kids the way it was laid out. They have since changed it to make it a little less scary. It's not as dark, there's not as much lightning or rain effects. And my favorite thing about it, and certainly my wife's, was that there was no ending to the ride. You would come through, everything was going terrible, there was a huge moment of peril, and then you went through a door that just said they lived happily ever after, and then you were done. You got off the ride. I missed that. But the queue for this is cute and nice, and if you go in the evenings after the fireworks, people have taken their kids home. So, nice short wait. There's the King Arthur Carousel with one of my favorite things, Excalibur, the sword in the stone. Absolutely love that. I have, again, pictures of me from multiple decades trying to pull the sword from the stone. They occasionally let it up. Some lucky kid will make it move. Never been me, and I don't think it ever will be, probably. All right, let's take it up this side here. We got a Pinocchio's Daring Journey. Again, another very cute old school dark ride, and you can hear that's I believe that's the music from the carousel kicking in. All right, I'm gonna bring us. There's the sword. I wonder if I can I try? No, I guess I can't. Well, I guess I'm not gonna pull it out in the game either. And up here, a classic again. Can't get this one in Florida anymore. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride with the car out front that you can take your picture in the parks. Always love that. Toad Hall, a beautiful old school spot. The Mr. Toad outside has a big shiny spot on his head from where people have touched it over the 60 plus years that the park's been open, and it's sort of been polished shiny. All right, we're now around the backside of the carousel here. And we have Dumbo the Flying Elephant, classic. Everyone has their picture in that. That's sort of like a must do. I'm going to bring us over this way because there's not a ton over here. Little churro cart. But you will see over here, I don't actually think I can go in. Yeah, I guess not. But this is the, oh yeah, I can go up where those people are waiting. I'm gonna go up because the queues here are very short. This is the Casey Jr. Circus Train ride, which just sort of, it's cute, it's fast, it's weird, it's a fun one to do at night because they light everything up. It's kind of a nothing ride. It's kind of just a quick little train that buzzes you through some little story scenes. Lots of cool topiaries. These are legit. Like you can really see these topiaries in the park. So those are cool. A nice detail for them to include. All right, as we come around here, let's see. I'm just making sure I don't miss anything. Oh, there's the teacup that people take their picture in for while they're here, because of course the Mad Hatter's Tea Party is right there, as everyone just lovingly refers to it, the teacups. Also, right behind me here is the storybook. It's the Storybook Canal Boats, a greatly overlooked ride. Brings you again through a lot of little miniature scenes, some of them that are actually featured on the Casey Jr. train, like they cross the same paths. You do go through the whale from Pinocchio, Monstro, and that's pretty cool. So interestingly, Alice in Wonderland is the only movie to have two attractions in this park, at least at this time. Now, of course, Star Wars has three. Um, but this is the Alice in Wonderland ride over here. So there's the teacups, and then there's actually like a dark ride for it. Fun fact about the dark ride, there is a room you go through that's sort of black with a lot of blacklight effects going on. Um, it's hotter than the rest of the ride. Like it's hot, and that's because it is directly above part of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride from right around the corner. Specifically, it is above the part in that ride where you go to hell. You literally go to hell in the Mr. Toad ride. You get in a drunk driving accident with a train and you go to hell. And the hell room is made very hot on purpose. and it leaches into the Alice in Wonderland ride. So if you ever make it out to California, find yourself on that ride, and you're like, why am I hot? Well, now you know. All right, we're gonna follow the backside of Tomorrowland here, and as we're coming up here, you will see one of the greatest exteriors of any ride. This is It's a Small World, specifically the California It's a Small World, because this entire facade on the front of the ride is a huge working clock. It's a big cuckoo clock that comes to life every 15 minutes in the park, and little characters march all around. This is the ultimate work of Mary Blair. That sort of very Oh, I think it's happening. I hear the music changing. Yeah, that music swap, that's usually where the clock comes to life. I don't know if it does it in the game. I'm not going to stand here long enough to find out. But the topiaries here are beautiful and they're real as well. My wife has a favorite because she found it in a very old picture her parents had taken before she was born. And it's this sort of Loch Ness Monster sea serpent dragon thing. It used to be bigger and it used to be in the storybook canals, but it now lives over there and it has been made a little smaller. And I do love, this is a real thing too, the this merch booth that has that same Mary Blair design work, the wall over here with the Mary Blair design work, all of that's really there. Um, so I should say this, last time I was in Disneyland just a few weeks ago, it was pouring rain one day, and I was coming around this corner on my way to Toontown, and I got stuck standing right here under this little overhang waiting for the rain to pass. It was so bad. It was just a sea of people with umbrellas everywhere. It was crazy. All right, over here we have the Princess Fantasy Fair. It's a theater in Tomorrowland, the Tomorrowland Theater. The Princess Fantasy Fair has been gone for some time. It was the story of the Lion King, which also just closed. Before that, there was a, as you can see, Belle there was a Beauty and the Beast show that was there, also no longer there. It's being transitioned into something else, and I don't know what. All right, I'm going to pass down here. Now, Mickey's Toontown was closed for a very long time for a refurbishment. And anyone who's been there recently, this is going to be a wild throwback because there is a lot missing here. Now, there's a huge fountain right there. The trolley car line doesn't exist anymore, so the Jolly Trolley is gone. Um, and in fact, right over here, not themed here, but there in all its glory, that is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, a killer ride in this park. They did not have the rights at the time. It was owned, it was a Universal property, I believe, and they did not have the rights to put it in the game. So instead, we just get the facade, no signage or anything. All these goofy things, the fire department, the fireworks department that's attached to the fire department, the gym with the goofy heavy bag, the one of my favorites, the prison with rubber bars on the front that you can pose with. That's all still there. I will say one small detail: that mailbox is a fun thing that you can pull open and it talks to you in the parks. That's not there anymore. They moved that somewhere else. Not for any good reason, I don't think. And of course, right here, what we're seeing, the Five and Dime, that is now the Mickey's Runaway Railway, which is a great ride. And in fact, the first time that Mickey Mouse ever had an attraction in a Disney park. That opened in the last 5 years in both parks, Florida and California. So it took Mickey 60 years to get an attraction in the parks. As we run across over here, there's some dining spots. But really, the whole reason you really want to come over here at all, and there's some great dining there now. Also now there's a huge play area over here, very much like a sort of like a little park. The characters all live here because it's Toontown. Here is Minnie's house. She's out front saying hello. Over here is Mickey's house. which in the parks you get a whole walkthrough, and at the end you get to meet them. It's very cool. There's this car in the garage. Back there, I believe this is yeah, Gadget's Go Coaster, Gadget from Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and there's Chippendale, and that's their treehouse that they live in, which you can also go walk through. There's Gadget's Go Coaster. One of the few attractions in the park that I don't think I've ever done, or at least not since I've been old enough to remember. Here's Donald's boat. Apparently Donald lives on a boat. This, of course, will be Goofy's house with the patched up car that's crashed into the mailbox. Yeah. Great stuff. All right. That's probably everything we need to see in Toontown. There might be more. Again, I'm gonna do some exploring on my own and probably do another video where I dive into some of the cool little hidden details. I've touched on a few of them here, but there's some really great small stuff that I know they included in the game, and if they didn't, it's stuff that I can at least talk about. And next time you're there, you can find it yourself. All right. So we're coming back here. And right on the corner of sort of Fantasyland and Tomorrowland is where we hit the Matterhorn. The Matterhorn is a fantastic ride. If you've ever been to Disney World in Florida and you've done Space Mountain, this is the same ride, just not in the dark. This was built first. They just made a clone of it for Florida. I don't know if I can actually get in here to look around. Yeah, I think the best I can do is to kind of weasel my way up here, and you can see the track in there, and I believe that there should be some ride vehicles coming around the corners at some point. Oh, the Beast is over there. That's cool. But yeah, just a great ride. There is a half-court basketball court hidden upstairs in there. Fun little fact there. Bob Gurr designed that ride, a famous Imagineer, in his early 90s and a massive hit on Instagram. Gotta look him up. Bob Gurr. Bobgurr. Yeah, that is absolutely gorgeous. And the monorail track in the background. And then you can also see another famous work of Bob Gurr's behind me here. This is Autopia, where he designed the ride vehicles. And I know some of the cars are going to come through. You can see them up on the bridge there. Bob Gurr, very famous for designing a lot of the vehicles that were there. Oh, hey, Grizzly Kid coming in. We got the raid. Welcome, bud. Good to see you. I'm giving a grand tour of Disneyland here, a real area of my expertise, and this game has recreated it so perfectly. In fact, I was telling the stream earlier, this game came out early November of 2011. I was actually married in this park on October 31st, 2011. So this is very much what it looked like when I was married there. All right, we're coming around this water feature here on the back half of the Matterhorn, going from Fantasyland into Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland is, I've said it about a lot of the areas. It's one of my favorites. Now, the Tomorrowland in California needs some updating. It's out of date. There's a lot of things there that don't work, and I'm going to talk about those while I'm here. But first, this is the submarine voyage, specifically the Finding Nemo submarine voyage. It was not always Finding Nemo. It originally started its life as just the Tomorrowland submarines, and then was themed to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And of course, now is Finding Nemo, where they use projection to sort of put Nemo into some of the scenes. Still a fun ride. A little tough for me. I'm a little tall for it. It's sort of a small space you get squeezed into and you go underwater. But it's a classic. It's been there forever. The lagoon that it goes out over, which I kind of glossed past, has a bunch of these seagulls from Finding Nemo. And when you walk by, you can hear them doing that, mine, 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 mine. I wonder if it's in the game. Let's see. I'm not hearing it. But a fun fact about this lagoon, you see those rocks? They used to have mermaids on them. They would actually hire women dressed as mermaids to kind of stay out there and wave to people, but they had to get rid of it because they had a lot of over-eager teenage boys try to jump in the water to swim to them. The 50s and 60s were a crazy time. What can I say? People were not that bright. Although some of the behavior I've seen in the parks lately, maybe people still aren't that bright. Oh, I'm gonna come over. Yeah, right here. I'm gonna get quiet so we can listen to the music. If you're ever looking to really enjoy yourself, especially if you're stuck at work, find the full audio loop of the Tomorrowland area and just put it in the headphones. It's great. You see driver's license photos. You can get your Autopia driver's license. That's always fun. Here we have the Tomorrowland Terrace, which has a stage built in it where bands have played for years and years and years. And then for a while, they had a Star Wars stage show that would happen here. Uh, all right, take it easy, Grizz. Thanks for stopping by, bud. Um, the Tomorrowland Terrace stage had all kinds of musical acts that would come over the years, big and small. I, in particular, saw the Suburban Legends play there, which was awesome. I'd seen them for years. I actually opened for them a couple times with the band, and getting to see them there was fantastic. They also had one of my favorites, Steam Powered Giraffe, have played there. So kind of a prestigious little thing. All right, coming right back out the back here, and we are going to venture over to another attraction that is. This is two attractions in one that are gone now. You see it labeled there, Innoventions. At the time in 2011, they had turned this very famous building into Innoventions, where they would show all kinds of robotics and automobile things. It was a very interesting idea, um, but wasn't a huge draw. No matter what the game tells you with that big line, that line was never there. You could just walk in, the place was a ghost town. Before that, this was the Carousel of Progress. Um, Truly one of my favorite Walt Disney things. It's in Florida now. It was from the 1965 World's Fair, where they had the Carousel of Progress. They had It's a Small World and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln were all there, making their debuts. And then they came to the park, and this is where Carousel of Progress was. Yeah, I wish it was there now because I absolutely love the Carousel of Progress. All right, running out here real quick. I'm going to show just over on this side the Pizza Port, which for a long time was where my wife and I would get dinner if we were in the parks because we were poor and there were some great options there. Slice of pizza was pretty cheap. They have a really great Alfredo pasta that is really good, that was super cheap. It's largely said to be some of the worst food in the park by most people, but that's just that's just crazy talk. There's definitely better food, but there's nothing wrong with Pizza Port. Pizza Port now, of course, is Pizza Planet, themed to Toy Story, and they have the aliens. And behind me here, you can see sort of up there. There's this beautiful sculpture that is still there now. Um, but more importantly, what this used to be up there, you see this track that runs all the way down there and all the way back. That used to be the original People Mover. It, of course, in the 90s, Michael Eisner changed it over to the Rocket Rods because his 13-year-old son told him, "Oh, we need more thrill rides in the park. So why don't you put a thrill ride here?" So he did. And my understanding is that the stress of having a fast-moving ride on those tracks, the stress it put on those tracks, has actually rendered them useless now. So they can't put the People Mover back. Rocket Rods was only open less than a year before they closed it down. It was not popular. It broke down too much. Just a horrible misstep under Michael Eisner with that one, and heartbreaking because the People Mover is iconic and really should be there. All right, I'm gonna turn us around here, and right behind me, one of the absolute icons of Disney, Space Mountain. Now I don't know if they have the Space Mountain music here, but I'm gonna go hop in the queue and see if it's playing. There it is. So cool. Great ride. One of my favorites. And you'll see over here this sort of empty spot over here with the Captain EO tribute sign. This was the waiting area to go into the movie theater that at one time was Honey I Shrunk the Audience, and of course before that was Captain EO. Heard about that ride on Defunct Land? Oh yeah, Rocket Rods, man, what a story! Oh, the People Mover. Well, to be fair, the People Mover still exists in Florida, and it's great. Um, it has a bad history in California. There were some injuries, and I think actually a couple deaths because of kind of idiot teenagers who tried to jump from car to car. Again, I believe those happened mostly in the early '80s. Kids in the '80s, man, they were stupid. Um, but yeah, so this area over here was the waiting area where you waited to go in to watch Captain EO. Captain EO, if you're not aware, is I want to say 15-minute film starring Michael Jackson and created by I believe George Lucas and gosh, who else? It's like a killer's row of the Henson people worked on it. It's just a murderer's row of incredible creators and artists and directors. I believe it's Francis Ford Coppola directed it, um, and it is terrible. It is very bad, but it's so good. It's so bad, it's good. Um, at least the '80s kids died in hardcore ways, not by eating Tide Pods. Well, that's true. I mean, I'm sure some of them ate laundry detergent in the '80s. Um, but yeah, Captain EO, you can watch in its entirety on YouTube, I believe. Worth watching. Fantastic song sung by Michael Jackson, not written by him, called "We Are Here to Change the World." And then when you would exit the ride, because the outro of the movie was "Another Part of Me" from the Bad album. Just fantastic. And I'm so happy that this is sort of enshrined here. It was the Captain EO tribute because, of course, in 2009, June of 2009, Michael Jackson died. And they brought Captain EO back for a few years as a tribute. I wish they had kept it because honestly, it was super fun. It was one of the first things my wife and I did after we got married was we dragged everyone from our wedding to go watch Captain EO. Really great little dumb little 3D movie. Um, let's see over here we got what are they in line for? Space Mountain next. I don't know. I guess maybe they got a fast pass. I don't know why they're back there. But I also love this. This is a cool little gem. Over in the window of the Starcade shop. Starcade, how's that for a reference? Um, they have Captain EO merch. They have the shirts, both on the left there. That sort of blue, yellow, red swipe on the white shirt is the shirt that Michael Jackson's wearing in the film, and on the right is just the logo. Really kicking myself for not having either of those. I really wish I'd picked them up. All right. So I showed a lot of stuff over in that corner there. Yeah, here as I come around here, you'll see a lot more of the People Mover track as it goes down there and disappears into Tomorrowland. So right next to this popcorn cart now, there's also a pretzel cart. And I gotta tell you, the seasonal pretzels at Disney are one of the hidden gems. I had a French toast pretzel with cream cheese brown butter dipping sauce, drizzled with maple syrup. Unreal. I also had a pumpkin spice pretzel that also had a cream cheese and brown butter dipping sauce. Oh man, oof, unreal. But yeah, popcorn, and then of course this is one of the standby churro. Is it a churro spot in the game? Oh, it's just unlabeled. Always churros and ice cream available at this one spot in Tomorrowland. Oh, you know what? I almost went right by it. I almost went by two of the most important things in Tomorrowland. There is a garden here that they kind of show you here. This garden is comprised entirely of like actual food when you're in the park. It's like lettuce and different herbs, and my wife and I always, she's always taking pictures when we're there. We're always kind of inspecting it because we have a huge garden in the backyard, and it's just so weird to see a decorative garden that's comprised of like cilantro and romaine lettuce, and just really weird. Right now, the last time we were there was strawberry bushes. Um, yeah, right here, this neon sign on the Star Trader is one of our favorite things in the park. It's Mickey in a spacesuit, and it lights up exactly like that in person. Uh, it's hypnotic. It's beautiful. It's been there forever. And with the Tomorrowland music playing, especially in the evening when you can really see it lit up, it's dumb. It's kind of weird, but like one of the things that makes me smile most in the park, really. All right, we're coming back down here into Tomorrowland, and this is a cool spot right about here, because right here you can see the two murals that are. I mean, I love retrofuturism. I love sci-fi art. I actually, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it right on in my little camera here, because it's right next to me. I have an entire book that I can't recommend enough called Worlds Beyond Time Sci-Fi Art of the 1970s. Great book. Guy who runs it actually has a killer Instagram page of retro sci-fi art. So you can imagine how much I love looking at this. I love that you see directly above me here Space Mountain as rocket ships. That's what the real Space Mountain looks like when you stand at a distance in the parks. And then over on the other side here, we have sort of a yeah, another you know sort of shot of a seemingly fictional galaxy. That's certainly more planets than we have. Although I suppose maybe some of those are supposed to be moons. Hard to say. Not my job to interpret the artist's intention. Um, but yeah, I love those. I love the architecture here. When you're in the park, all of these you can sort of see the lighting here. Those little rings are all neon lights all the way up, and they blink in a very specific order. So cool. Same with over here. So now we're going to talk about the two attractions that are right here. One, you can see Buzz Lightyear out front saying hello. This is Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters. This is really cool. It's a little laser gun game where you have to shoot targets to get certain points. Um, I always do pretty well at it, but it's hard. It feels a little dated, but that's kind of what's awesome about it. Um, Never a huge wait for that, so love that. And then right across the way here doesn't really look like much. If you were to look at it like this is nothing. But again, they did not own Lucasfilm yet. They only had in-park licensing. This is Star Tours. This is the original Star Wars ride is in here. And instead they just have blank signs, which is super weird. Now, of course, before it was Star Tours, it was a journey into the microcosmos, where you would get shrunk down, and you were sent into a person, essentially. Really interesting. I actually have the audio from that ride as a vinyl record, and it's awesome. It's great. It's weird. Um, and then out here, I'm gonna get us the good view, because I believe this is the Tomorrowland welcome sign. Yeah, here we have the rockets. Why am I blanking on the name of this particular ride? I should definitely know that. That's embarrassing. I wonder if there's a sign to make me feel like a dope. Am I gonna have to open the app live here and look up what this ride is called? It's the Astro Orbiter. Yeah, see, I got it before the app opened. The Astro Orbiter, which is essentially sort of the same ride as the Dumbo elephants, just you're in a rocket instead of in an elephant. In Florida, this is set up on a pedestal, so you're very high, and you get a great view. Now, again, you see that track there. There's the people mover. or at least what should have been the people mover. It's not anymore. Again, all this crazy stonework that you see here on the entryway into Tomorrowland, that's real. That's all there, and that's all at that scale. It's a very faithful recreation of the parks here. Now I'm going to run us back out to the hub here and spin us around and give us the view. This is the old Tomorrowland entryway. Kind of lackluster, a lot of sort of muted golds and browns. This is not how it looks anymore. It's much more open. It's very bright, very cool. Dave the Monster Truck Nerd, did Figment have a place in Cali, or was he in Florida only? He is in Florida only. He is was sort of the original mascot for Epcot, more or less. And no, there's no Figment in California, unfortunately. Similar to Orange Bird. Orange Bird is also not in California. He was created by the Florida Citrus Commission, and they continue to use him in, I believe, Adventureland over in Florida. But yeah, the new Tomorrowland entryway is much cooler looking than that. We're going to come out here. We're now on this side of the hub, where we have the Plaza Inn, which at this time I believe was a walk-up restaurant with a lunch buffet with character meats. Now it is sit-down, reservation only, still character meats, but pretty overpriced. People swear by the fried chicken there. I've never actually eaten there, as far as I know. Again, my memory of going in '98 when I was, entering the 8th grade, very fuzzy. I don't much recall. Um, so that is our grand circle tour of Disney. There is not, I realized as I was taking you around in the park, I kept saying, this is one of my favorite lands. This is one of my favorite areas. Oh, this little nook's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite attractions. I could go on and on about the work of different Imagineers and about the theming of different rides, about the immersiveness of certain rides, the music, the food. Um, I think honestly, it's just the whole place is my favorite. As I head back up Main Street here, even the shops at night when everything's closed down for the night. They've made their closing announcement. These shops stay open for an extra hour just on Main Street. Everything else is closed down as people make their way out. You come out, you can do a little shopping before you leave. They don't kick you right out. And there's something kind of magical about that. For a long time, somewhere probably right around here would have been where me and my friends wound up standing to watch the fireworks over the castle. And I would have that free refillable coffee from the refreshment corner. And I would have gone and splurged at the time, I think it was $3 for a Rice Krispie treat in the shape of Mickey. And I'd be standing there as it got a little chillier out. It was dark. The lights were up on everything, which is a whole different look. They don't have it in this game, but Disneyland at nighttime is just amazing. And I would stand right here as we watched the fireworks, and I would have a coffee and I would have my Rice Krispie treat. And as we watched the show, you're not talking during the show. It's loud music and you're watching the fireworks and the lights. Everything kind of disappeared for me. It's really a truly like peaceful Zen experience that I don't know if I get anywhere else. Um, I'm going to head back up this way and I'm going to take us out the other side of the entrance. We came in on that side, checking out the posters. I'm going to take us out, checking out the posters on this side. Again, every night before you leave when it's dark, you can always see the light on above the fire department in Walt's old apartment where he used to stay at the park. So every night when we leave, we always look up at the light and you can sort of say goodbye to Walt as you head out. I know it's corny, but it's just what I do. Let's see which, is it all the same posters on this side? Yeah, I think it is. Not, no, they got the sailing ship Columbia, the Matterhorn. I love that Matterhorn poster. Um, oh, the Dumbo Carousel and Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, they got a few different ones here. Okay, those are all repeats from the other side. Yeah, and then back out to the turnstiles, and of course, if you go out here and then you continue off to the right, is downtown Disney, and just beyond that is the Disneyland Hotel and Trader Sam's Tiki Bar. Um, yeah, it's amazing how you can leave the parks here and things are still themed. I'm gonna once again take one more look across the way here at the old entryway to California Adventure with the giant letters. Uh, so cool and just completely different now. You can see the those tall red things just past the entryway over there. That's the fake Golden Gate Bridge that the monorail used to drive across. I believe it goes in a different spot now, but you get the idea. All right, I'm going to call that a stream for now. That is my tour of Disneyland, sort of an overarching tour with a few memories thrown in. Again, I have some plans for these going forward. All of my chickens are named after things you can find in the Disney parks. So at some point, I'm going to play this game. We're going to do a quest. We're going to travel around and see if we can find all the things my chickens are named for. I'm going to do a Perry specific tour at some point and just tell stories of things that have happened to me, great moments I had in the park, wrestlers I've been at the park with. Um, and I also think it'd be kind of cool to do a sort of a deep dive running around the park looking at things designed by specific Imagineers. So I'm gonna work all that in over time. For now, I'm gonna do all my plugs and get out of here. The first plug, very important. The Concept, Johnny Torres, Concept JT on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. If the audio sounds particularly good to you, that is because he was kind enough to gift or long term lend me this gaming headset. Yeah, had some audio issues on the last stream. This is way better. I can hear everything. I'm pretty sure you can probably hear me pretty clearly. Very happy about that. Thank you, Johnny. I'm going to have a link in the description to his channel. You can check him out. He posts game highlights from all of his gaming adventures as well. He also posts some of those on Instagram, so be sure to check those out. Also, want to got to mention the upcoming shows. I am not booked to wrestle on February 24th at Blitzkrieg in Westfield, but I will probably be there to hang out. Uh, you know, got to go support the friends, support everybody while they're there. Johnny Torres will be there. You got to go see him. He hooked me up with this headset. He's going to be there on the announce team. Just a couple weeks later, East Hampton Pro Wrestling Grind, March 8th and 9th, Friday and Saturday. It is Overkill. Overkill 2024, you got to be there. Night 1, Friday, March 8th, I will be challenging in the main event against the Grind Grand Champion, Mike Skyros. I think it's my time to take that championship. I think it's overdue, quite frankly, and I'm going to make it happen. And just a few weeks later, Blitzkrieg Pro will be in Springfield, Mass. On March 22nd, I believe, a Friday. I will be at that, booked or not, going to hang out, support the homies, and I will keep you all posted as to whether or not I am wrestling on that event. That is everything I've got for now. I stream every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm trying to stream twice a week, a stream like this with a game, and another stream where I'm doing something down in the 3D print workshop. Be sure to follow me across all my social media platforms. They're down below. My t-shirt store is down below. I'm printing new stuff on the 3D printer, making all kinds of new merch. Gonna have some new 8x10s, pictures from Japan. Some of the greatest pictures of my career. Hoping to get those out to everyone soon. That is it for now. I am out of here. Dave the Monster Truck Nerd, thank you for stopping in. Shout out to Grizzly Kid for his raid, bringing all his buddies. Good to see you guys. I will see you all again soon. I will be posting on my streams across my socials when all my different streams are going to be. So until next time, take care.